Hello everybody, welcome to the Chain Gang, and my name is Jürgen Morse. Today, the seventh world wonder. How can you be sure that the blockchain that you use for your company is actually safe to the level that you expected or level that it should be? And one of the reasons, and that's the seventh world wonder of Web3, to do that are the consensus mechanisms. And what are consensus mechanisms? Basically, well, it is a way that a decentralized network of computers agrees on the current state of the ledger. It's basically a set of rules how computers come to an agreement what the current state of the ledger actually is. That is a consensus mechanism. Now, there's one complication at it. It's done in an encrypted way, so that it's also very secure and very private. Now, there are many different types of consensus mechanisms. I will focus on 5, and I think these are the 5 biggest for now, but also this technology is really fast and evolving. And the first 2 are really well known. And the first one is proof of work, and the first big and well-known blockchain, Bitcoin, they used this technology, especially in the beginning. And what they do is they use miners. They solve very complex mathematical puzzles, and then they are allowed to validate the transactions. And this way, they also validate the whole network in itself. The big disadvantage was it takes a lot of computing power, so it's very resource intensive. And because it uses many computing power, it also uses a lot of energy. That's one of the big disadvantages. Then you have the proof of stake, which is the second biggest one. And here you have validators, and these validators that validate the state of the network of the ledger. They are chosen based on the stake that they hold in basically an amount of tokens that they hold, and then they take the validation effort by turn based on the stake that they actually hold. Still very secure, but also a risk. If you especially have a blockchain where there are some what it's called crypto whales or token whales, meaning they hold a very big percentage of the tokens or of the currency of the coins, means that they would then be the preferred validators for a certain part, meaning you could have a risk of centralization a little bit more. Especially with the bigger public blockchains, you can be a little bit more relaxed in that. Especially with new, smaller blockchains, you have to look out for this. A variation of proof of stake is the delegated proof of stake, and there all of the users, they choose or they vote who the validators can be. It's a different approach, but means you activate your user base. So it's a way of activating your user base. From that point of view, it's okay. But if you will have a lot of indifferent users or inactive users, or you get a certain user base that is very towards one validator, very advantageous to one validator, again, you get more the risk of centralization. The fourth one is proof of authority, and there only certain entities, they are predefined validators basically. They are allowed to validate, or moderators, as we say, central moderators. And here you can see that you are really close to, again, the centralization of power, or the centralization of approval. And what you see is that for public blockchains, this is not the typical way to go. But for private blockchains, for a company, yeah, of course, this is the perfect way to go, because private blockchain is basically also designed for a certain company or for a certain organization to use. So they most of the time also like to call which one validators or moderators are actually allowed to validate certain transactions and the state of the blockchain as it is right now. So perfectly for private blockchains. And last but not least, it is proof of history. It is a coming technology. It is not so mainstream right now. You can see some experiments with it, where based on a timestamp, you're going to look at, okay, what is the status of my blockchain? What is the present state of my blockchain? And every time with the timestamp you move or you can update your state of your blockchain. It is less safe when you compare it with the first one that we had, proof of work. But again, if you build a blockchain, if you want to use a blockchain, make sure that you in advance say, okay, what do I want to do with my blockchain? What data is going to be on there? How safe do they have to be? How dependent am I on a central organization? Is this a problem for me? Yes or no? And based on that, make your choices in which direction you would like to go with your with the type of blockchain that you actually choose, and also the consensus mechanism that you choose, or that is always linked or programmed into the blockchain. And this ends up, or this episode ends up, the last of the 7 world wonders of Web3. And next time we will dive into a completely different topic around Web3. See you then. Bye bye.